Put on your Sunday bests and gather round the wireless, folks, because it's the best podcast in town, the Large Blast Podcast. I'm your host, Stoney, and I'm joined, as always, by Welshie.
Please, can I be part of your club?
And Matt.
Your chapter needs you.
And today we like to talk about all things Warhammer 40,000, especially Warhammer 40,000 recruitment for Space Marines. But first, we like to get things kicked off with a little something we call Hobbies Progress or Hobbies Goings On. I can't remember. And let's start with you, Matt, because Matt, I've got a bit of a bone to pick with you. That's right. There's some beef dropping on the show.
Oh
yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You see, the other day I was thinking to myself, oh, maybe I'll go on Instagram and I'll have a little look at my old buddy Matt's Instagram there. And I was scrolling through. What did I see, no less, than you had painted a little a tauman. You've gone down the Welshie route where you've done you've done your Imperial Guard guy dressed as a tau. I believe this is the Trojan horse of your downfall, Matt. This is the start of the end. What's going on?
Well, it is actually, because you'll never guess what I got in the post today.
More tau.
An Eldar model.
Oh no!
Honestly, it came in the post today.
Is that your did you sign back up for your figgy? Is it your model for?
I asked him this, Stoney, when we played our game. I'm sure we'll talk about this, but I asked him and he was being very secretive. So here it is, officially, Matt. You've re-signed up.
Yeah, we're talking about Warhammer Plus, and me and Welshie were deliberating. We've been on the Warhammer Plus program thing, whatever you want to call it, subscription for, well, it's like the 5th year since it started. Much deliberating. I was deliberating. I spent like a week thinking about it. Was it worth 50 quid? Probably not. The model wasn't worth 25. I was sort of seeing it as half subscription, half model. All the other models have been really good. And then there was loads of stuff on there that I hadn't watched. So I thought, well, the least I can do is watch, catch up with stuff. And they're obviously trying to put more stuff on there. I ummed and ahed right into the last minute. And I think I actually genuinely just forgot. And it went past midnight.
This is what he's saying. What he means is, I love the Eldar so much now that I just couldn't not rejoin for that beautiful Eandon model.
And it went through, and I mean,
decided. I have sacked it off, boys. They don't have me in their claws anymore. They're greasy mitts.
Do you want to buy an Eldar model?
Out of it. I actually quite like the model. That's how much I didn't want to be part of it anymore. I genuinely think it's quite a cool model. And
do you know?
I just thought there's not enough on it. I'm done with it. And actually, the main reason isn't so much Warhammer Plus. I'm just pissed off with Games Workshop at the moment.
Well, maybe we can go into
for
that.
so many different reasons, but. I play 3rd edition now, boys. That's all I'm doing. You're not getting anything else out of me. No model reviews, nothing.
Well, this is it. I hear the other day that you're rekindling your orc army, quote unquote, because we should remind the listeners at home that Welshie has an orc army, which is actually a Tau army in disguise, which is what got me so furious when I saw Matt's Tau man had appeared.
Yeah.
And now I hear that you're out here trying to get hold of the 3rd edition Tau Codex. I just feel like all my friends have started playing Tau. I'm afraid that's true, Large Blast podcast listener. And this is just a grim reminder that if you let even one hidden Tau player into your life, before you know it, all of your friends will play Tau.
All the friends, they played Tau. They were hiding in plain sight.
You'll never guess what I got in the post today.
Said they had gone, they had orcs too, but if you scratch the surface, they were all blue. And all of my friends, they played Tau. They were hiding in plain sight.
And last night, this is a battle tank that I've been painting for like 2.5 years.
One of those
It's sort of
purple ones.
Yeah, purple one.
Nice.
The one with the battle cannon on, the
Okay.
Castigator.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
So that's taken me ages. Yeah, and me and Welshie played Kill Team
Yeah,
on the
that's what we should
weekend.
talk about in my bit. I'll give over my hobby lore to talking about our game of Kill Team. Actually, just asking you, Matt, how did you find your first game of Kill Team?
Yeah, it was good. I enjoyed it. I like the fact that we didn't play the full rules,
Hmm.
because there's
Slimmed it
obviously a
down a
lot of
bit.
depth that you can go into, and we just simply, I mean, we played the
You
rules,
played
but
on
we
that
just,
board, didn't you, with all those ladders and snakes on? It was great. I
Yeah, we
remember.
rolled
Oh,
one
how did
dice
Yeah,
you?
for
well,
the whole
Yeah.
went
game.
round and like, yeah, no,
Straight
I
sixes.
like that. It's really simplified. It's really easy to get people into it. Yeah,
Yeah, it
So
was
we
really
played
good.
the full rules in terms of playing, didn't we? We just didn't play all the secondary objectives and stuff
Yeah,
like that. But
yeah,
the game was the game. It was wrapped in 3 hours.
Hmm.
It was tight. We drew in the end. Um,
yeah.
So you back?
Um,
Do you think you're going to start playing more kill team, Matt?
yeah.
Are
I
you
mean,
trying to look for alternatives to 40k at the moment?
no, it's just, trying to get in the gaming experience without
Hmm.
having to pack and unpack and lug around an entire army and refresh the rules. Like
Hmm.
yeah, they're much simpler systems.
at one point, you did say this is so much better than 10th. That
Yeah,
was you exasperated about turn 3 when
Yeah.
you
yeah.
realised there was only about 20 minutes left and it was
Oh.
over soon.
Honestly, like the thing I got it with Epic as well, and historical games, but definitely with Kill Team. The thing you get with them is maneuverability.
Mm.
Warhammer's just like 40k 10th edition and 9th edition. It got to a point where the board is just entirely covered by models, but there's still auras for everything, and the auras are just overlapping. There's no maneuverability in the game because the board
Yeah.
is so comparatively small. Whereas Kill
Yeah.
Team, we were kind of, dodging around. It felt way more cinematic, and you do have to think ahead of your movement and be very cautious. But you have more places to go.
It's
The
great because it
Warhammer board is
punishes
just
you like
packed.
instant regret, right? That's why I like
Yeah,
Kill Team because
yeah,
you do
yeah,
something, and if you've moved someone out in the open, immediately it's your opponent's turn because it's take it in turns, and then that guy's dead. It's like
yeah.
you don't do that again, you know? What about you though, Stoney? What have you been up to?
Mixed bag, I guess. We released our video about the holographic fan that has done
Oh,
been
I need
wildly
to watch that.
unsuccessful compared to some of our other videos. So that was wildly unsuccessful. And then also my 3D printing run, my amazing 3D printing run has come crashing to an end. For some
Oh
reason,
no.
it's all started fucking up again, which has been
What, your
annoying.
printer?
Well, yeah, my printer. So God
Oh,
knows what it is I've done that's made it all just start printing fucking nonsense again. But that started happening. So that's been disappointing. No one's bought any of
has it
our
been possessed?
no one's bought any of our models either, except for Jeff, who just gave us money. So that
Thanks,
was good
Jeff.
of him. So
So
thank you very
nice
much,
one, mate.
Jeff. That was very kind of you. We appreciate that very much. So yeah, so wildly unsuccessful on my part. Although I have been doing quite a lot of work on my Gene Stealer cult guys, which has been quite nice. I had a couple of days this week to do some stuff. So I just made I know what you're thinking. Oh, you should concentrate on getting the stuff you're done out and done. But I made a new guy for it and stuck him in instead. So some other bits. So
Well,
yeah,
you're
so it's
trying
been fun.
to recreate the Games Workshop style like army launch box, are you? Everything ready to go in one printout.
Well, I did want to have like a proper army's worth of stuff ready for it because I felt like it would only be cohesive as an army,
Yeah.
because otherwise it doesn't really fit with other stuff. So I wanted to have some stuff ready to go. But I'm just kind of like taking it easy and making the stuff that I kind of want to make for it, and just because like it would be quite easy to get some stuff out for it at this stage, but it's just the kind of the fiddly bits, and then I can't do any of the test printing because my printer's fucking around again. So that's all like that's all super annoying. So yeah, just generally failing all over the place.
I
Oh,
should send you what models are actually in the kill team because you've probably got them together. You could put out a kind of just the
Kill
kill
Team.
team pack
Yeah.
for it.
Oh
Would
yeah,
be cool.
that's true.
Kill
The
team.
Gene Stealer limo based kill team.
Yeah,
Yeah,
everyone in the limo. One limo.
damn straight. Just drive
Is
that
there any
mother straight
vehicles in Kill Team?
No,
No.
you could call it in like on Streets of Rage, just one
Yeah,
one turn
yeah.
per game.
It just comes
Yeah.
out and wipes the screen.
Should we do some news?
Finance, cutting-edge technology. Accurate information is the Large Blast podcast news. Hear every episode.
So before we get to any news, I've got big news, boys. We've hit a channel milestone over on the Large Blast studio. We now have 15,000 followers as of 6 o'clock today. So that's good.
That's a
well done
milestone.
all. If only those 16,000 followers could just jump on, if you're listening to this, I'm sure you'll listen to the podcast too, and give the old long form video a watch. That'd be grand. Thanks very much.
Do you know, like as a measure of as a unit of measurement, that is 15 Space Marine chapters. That is enough Space Marines to conquer a subsector, probably.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And now's the
That's
time.
impressive.
Now's the time, Large Blast podcast listeners, to rise up as we reveal our true plan to overrun Games Workshop.
There's
slap
two
a like
arms up
on this
behind it.
video. Don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe. And we'll see you outside Games Workshop on Saturday at 10.
And if you're listening to this, if you happen to be one of 20 that listen to this on YouTube, just go and look at our other channel, the studio.
Yeah.
It's there.
Damn straight. Go look at that.
Anyway, that's enough about us.
Breaking news, Henry Cavill's hurt his foot, and he's posted a picture on Instagram that has some Warhammer in it.
That's right, Stoney. It's big news. It's about as big as you managed to really...
I didn't know how else to describe it really than that. So that is the facts of the situation.
That is what's happening, but people have been going mad. There were two pictures he posted to his Instagram. One, you have to zoom in very close, but in his cupboard is the Leviathan box set. And the other one, where he's got his leg up, is the new Horus Heresy rulebook with a pen and a pad. So everyone immediately has gone, the Amazon series is the Horus Heresy. Clearly he's been reading the Horus Heresy rulebook. It must be the Horus Heresy, which I think is bullshit, because if they try the Horus Heresy, it would be mad. But it was funny to see the like everyone go nuts online about this.
That is funny, and I can see that he's got 3 million heart likes on Instagram on these pictures that we're looking at, which are doing the rounds on the internet. And as a unit of measurement, that's probably a couple of regiments of Acadian shock troops, which is by no means enough to beat our 15 chapters of Space Marines. So
absolutely not.
Just saying.
Yeah, it's pretty low quality follows he's got there. Then
that's right. I bet he's paid for them as well. And
he's got a dog in the photo.
Yeah.
But you know how he did this.
So I like to say the 300 quality views I have on my YouTube video is worth so much more than Henry Cavill's 3 million low
that
class
sweet
views.
2.5 minute retention time.
Although I do have to say, like the thing that's really like bothering me is he's got a bunch of those, like he's obviously decorated his house seasonally.
Oh, the
We're
Halloween
like watching
pumpkins.
this. He's got the Halloween those like crappy pumpkins you see in like B&M and stuff in the seasonal bit where it's like, hey, why don't you throw some of this tat around your house?
They look like they're plushies.
They do. I think he's got plushies. He's got a big pile of plushies in the corner.
There's two ways he did this accident. One of them is that he trod on a Space Marine, which I can imagine is up there with treading on a Lego brick.
They're just scattered. He's so rich, they must just be scattered around his house.
Yeah, or he's hurt his foot by deploying himself on a tactical rock, filming the television series.
Yeah, could be that. Well, you heard it here first. We've solved it. Better move on.
Wipe your troubled brow, Grey Knights players, because your chapter can sit out and wait for a little bit longer because we've got more Ultramarines on the way. That's right. A bunch more Ultramarines for stuff that wasn't even that old has been re-released again. It's ready to go.
Calgar, Mark, God knows how many. Who was screaming for another Calgar model when there are entire factions that have been left out?
I'm super excited about another Calgar model. I couldn't believe it. I watched a thing the other day where they were. It was like I think it was like the Games Workshop. They're going to do some releases at the Las Vegas Open or something. They were talking about them, and they were being like, "Oh, don't worry, we're going to release some AdMech stuff. It'll be really cool." And then they had a section where they were like, "And if you Ultramarine players are concerned about what you're going to get," and it was like, what Ultramarine player is like, "Oh, I can't wait for them to drop more Ultramarine shit." They must just be like fucking like Ultramarine guys must be like worried for their wallets every time Games Workshop make an announcement.
Yeah, I thought that when they released the, did it get leaked? I can't remember. It did get leaked, didn't it? And then they released it. Something that happened.
Leaked and released within about 12 hours.
And I never checked, but we were just chatting a moment ago before recording, and Welshie did point out that he'd already had a Primaris model, and I did wonder that. I guess this is taking an opportunity with Space Marine 2, perhaps.
Yeah, I guess
he has a front role in that.
He's back in his Terminator armor. So his original model was Terminator armor. Then they put him in Primaris in Gravis armor. Now he's in this. But I don't even think they somehow managed to make him look smaller, in my opinion, in his Terminator armor than in the Gravis armor because of the pose. I think he's got the one hand up in the Gravis armor.
And I
but we don't need to talk about his model.
I presume the retinue is updated.
Yeah, so that retinue is cool, and that's a new Kato Sicarius model there.
Oh, the sergeant.
Who's now been promoted.
Yeah. Oh, that's.
I mean, if you're an Ultramarine,
doesn't he already have a model as well with that like
I think
brush
so.
head? Yeah, very cool. When did that come out? Like a couple of weeks ago. That's probably like a month old now. It's probably ready.
These are good models, though. These are good models.
Yeah, if you're an Ultramarine player, that command squad is cool.
The thing is they're fine. They're not better than the ones that they've replaced, really. Like, not significantly better than the ones they've replaced. When you think about, like, the rest of, like, you know, we just talked about the Dark Eldar range or something not long ago, and it's like, oh, what are they doing? Their range is getting, like, slashed in half. These guys are getting models on models on models. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, absolutely. And then people have been crying out for these for ages, but I'd like to say that on Large Blast Studio, I converted one of these like 8 months ago, but finally you will be able to buy Assault Terminators at Primaris size, as opposed to just buying the normal Terminators and then buying some Lightning Claws on eBay.
It's crazy how long that's taken.
It's mad, isn't it? It's mad how many videos I've seen of people doing that conversion, because it is just buy some new arms. It's not a difficult conversion. But yeah, I guess it's good if you were waiting for them. But they've released this box. Did you see the box they're releasing these in? 15 Terminators in one box. That's how these are going to be released.
Christ. What, all Assault Terminators?
Yep. Yeah.
That's insane. Oh, well, there's going to be loads of arms available now, at least, to buy on eBay.
Yeah. I think you get this. There's the hammer and shield options, the old school square shield and hammer. But like, I guess if you've got 3 mates that have all been waiting and you split a box, but who wants 15 Terminators?
That's just stupid.
Weird.
But all with assault options as well. I mean, I'd understand if you could maybe make one with guns and one with...
there's the sprue for guns. Don't quote me on that, but it didn't look like it.
All I want to know is to make sure they've got the Ultramarine transfers in there so I can put Ultramarine signs on them and get playing. Warhammer 40,000, boys. 2 new combat patrols for actual cool dudes. Right, guys? So what have we got? We've got Defcora Krieg with the rubber horses, and we've got the Harlequins who are starting to show their age now. So this is kind of like old versus new in a way.
Yeah, both cool boxes though for like the normal people that don't want to buy Ultramarines. That Krieg combat patrol has got to be one of the coolest combat patrols GW's ever released. It's a blinder.
And when you think about it, the Krieg range is quite small, so really you're getting a bit of all of it essentially, really, aren't you?
It's the perfect thing if you're a guard player and you just want a little, like, a quarter of your army to be
little taste of Krieg. And you could say that about the Harlequins as well, I guess.
Yeah, if you're an Eldar player. I mean, I still love. You say they're showing their age, and we'd like to see them updated, but I still think in a secret unrecorded episode, Stoney, we discussed how good the Dark Eldar still looks for its age. And I'd say the same about the Harlequins. I love some of those character models. I
do like them, and I remember when they came out, like absolutely loving them. I just feel a little bit like some of the posing has got better in GW, and that because they're so heavily posed, that's sort of starting to be a bit more of an issue. But But they do look much better. They're one of the, again, we talk about this all the time, but a model that looks way better when you have it in your hands than when you see pictures of it.
Yeah, definitely. I might pick up one of those if I can get it at a discount retailer and GW doesn't stop them from selling it.
We could take that soundbite out. I'm going to buy one of those at a discount retailer if GW doesn't stop selling it, and put it at the end of every section where we talk about the new combat patrols. I feel like that's what happens every time.
Well, you know it, but I actually haven't bought a combat patrol all year, so
no. Now's the time to buy all of them in one go.
I'm waiting for the Christmas Battle Force.
Rolling in my 6-4.
Listen up, weaklings. This is Captain Testosterone Overload, and I'm here to tell you limp dicks about your future in the Emperor's own Marine Corps. Hoorah! If you are one of the small percentage of people who are compatible with the Emperor's own blessed gene seed, then congratulations, Peckerwood, but you ain't earned nothing yet but a one-way ticket to the Marine Academy. From there, you will be shaped and crafted by your new chapter into the perfect weapon of war. A brass-balled sledgehammer with a knife in your teeth and a cock the size of a canoe. If you're strong enough to survive the initial tests, you will become the bringer of death to all those filthy Xenos and Chaos. The Emperor's own shaft to fuck everything in the universe. The fuck rod of the Imperium to penetrate and... Oh, hang on a minute, is that the door?
Hi, yeah, it's Editor Stoney here. I was just wondering if maybe you could turn down the dick stuff just a little bit. It's a little weird, to be honest with you, mate.
Well. Look what we have here. A sloppy sausaged civilian trying to tell me, General Testosterone Overload, I can't be shouting about dicks no more?
I'm just saying, mate, maybe we could keep it down to a dick reference every other sentence or something.
Boy, what you and your pin-dicked friends over at the Large Blast podcast don't understand is that no matter what Space Marine chapter you join, 99% of it is shouting about dicks. That's why we don't let girls in. We tried, but their dick shouting just came across as insincere, and we ended up losing 2 whole chapters as precious Space Marines because of it. That's right, that's what happened to the missing chapters, I'm saying it. Those chapters were called the Heavy-Dicked Rascals and the Big Bollock Platoon, both destroyed because of the inauthentic dick shouting by their female Space Marines.
Hold on a second, General Testosterone Overload. Your face looks kind of funny. Is that a mask you're wearing? Oh my god! It's Aaron Dembski-Bowden!
That's right, it was me all along. You caught me.
But why?
Because I don't like girls, okay? Their willies are all wrong and they smell nice. It's not natural.
Well, actually, Aaron, it is a lot of thoughts these days that gender is more like a learned behaviour and that girls can... Ugh! I've been shot!
Ha ha ha! Now Stoney is out the way, I can get on with my quest to make all Space Marines dudes forever. Not that that was something that was ever really under threat, I suppose, but it made me furious nevertheless. Now on with the episode about Space Marine recruitment. Ha 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 ha!
So that's it, boys. We've got to join up. We've got to join the Space Marines. But who are we going to join? Who do you think we could join? Shall we take a little look at some of the recruitment processes and try to work it out, shall we? So, Matt, shall we start with the most vanilla, the Ultramarines?
Yeah, maybe. Well, they strictly follow the Codex, so it's probably like the most simplest point to start, because everyone else sort of deviates away from that. They are the basic Marine, I guess, and they recruit from the realm of Ultramar, which is the 500 worlds, the empire within an empire, and the local nobility considers having a son to be chosen by the chapter as an honor without parallel. So there's a lot of wealthy, well-to-do families that aspire for their children to join up, and they're expected to pass 2 types of trials. The first is called the exposure trial.
Oh, I'm so glad. I thought you were going to say practical theoretical, and I was immediately going to fall asleep. Great.
Oh no, I hadn't thought about that at all. No, that's all I'm going to think about. Oh God, no, we're not going to talk about that again. No, but they probably say those 2 words non-stop during the whole process. But the first is the exposure trial, is basically a test that the aspirant goes to in one of the harsh environments in the realm of Ultramar. We should say I mean, it goes.
How
kind of goes
harsh
without,
does it get in Ultramar though?
Yeah,
It's like, oh no, you've got to go shop at Morrison's
Yeah.
instead of Waitrose.
Yeah.
go and
You're
go
not
and pick
allowed
up.
to bring your duffel coat with you.
It kind of goes without saying that to be an aspirant that is already considered worthwhile to go through the tests, you've got to be, you've got to be really good, top of your game, and just a strong human man. They're not just taking anyone, because the chances of you dying in this are very high. And they get put into an environment.
When you take one bite of that Bellini and realize that's not beluga caviar, and you fall down a heart attack, you are getting it's real
much
hard
red wine
times.
and grapes.
Yeah.
You realise it's only been 2 months since someone took a picture of you in your Gravis armor. You've got to go back and put on your Terminator armor.
Yeah. They just go to a harsh environment and they just have to survive. But there's a set period of time, and it could be weeks. And they just let it play, the Ultramarines, basically until the aspirant is on the edge of death, and then they stop it. So they're testing the fortitude in a specific environment. Trials could be icy wasteland, with the aspirant traveling from one point to another,
Skiing.
or
Yeah.
snowboarding, having some pints at the bars on the Alps, using the ski lift.
Oh no, Mum's made me stay in a hostel.
Yeah. But they try. So because there are 500 worlds, there is a divergence of planets and societies within the realm of Ultramar. So they do try to take. So I've made a note here that a feral world savage might be deposited within a hive city. So he will have to survive slumming it out in a hive city for a certain amount of time, or a hive world.
I can't believe you've put me on the 4th floor down. I can almost smell the underhive from here.
Don't make me eat that food. Or a hive worlder could be put in a predator infested death world. I think most of this would
Pets
be
at home.
a death world. Yeah. And many are near impossible to complete. So essentially the test is to just survive as long as you can. And if the Ultramarines think that you've carried that test out without faltering and you've basically passed out, or you have died, then the chapter apothecaries come and pick you up and revive you.
Well, that's really weird compared to what we will go on to talk about. So if you don't make it, someone comes and saves you.
That is also what I thought. Yeah, that they essentially you can fail the test.
Recruitment with a safe word.
But they say
when you're on mum and dad's insurance, it's all comes part of it.
Free expatriation.
Exactly.
But they do have to pass the second test. So it could be, because a lot of these chapters do keep their failed aspirants, if they survive, as like the servants. So maybe the Ultramarines do that. I don't know, but you have to pass the second test. The second trial is a challenge where you have to duel a full Ultramarines Astartes. So although you are a normal, unmodified human, potentially fairly young, so you could be like 15 upwards, you have to fight a battle brother without his power armor, and he is unarmed.
And this is really to boost the morale of the Space Marines, isn't it? Because they get a 15-year-old in, they get an
beat the shit out of him,
who just to kick the shit out of a random 15-year-old who wants nothing but to be on your side. It's great.
Look at us, we're so good. Yeah.
What I think is really cool, this is actually like a really old piece of lore. This is like a bit of rogue random Ian Watkins style Space Marine-esque lore with the Ultramarines fighting like this. And they're actually settling things through fighting, because the old rogue trader lore was crazy, and they're all a bit more like kind of like actual sort of marine-y, like who-are like Marines, weren't they back in the old days? And there was actually a model. I don't know if you've seen this, an old rogue trader model of two Ultramarines fighting in the middle of a battle. So it's got it's like a big base, and you've got two Ultramarines fighting on a single base that you put in the middle on square bases, and then round the outside you can put your other Ultramarines. And there was some kind of random old thing in like Rogue Trader lore where you could make two of your own guys like have a fight and give them an extra bonus or something. So yeah, cool. It's like a really random old piece of lore, which again stands out really quite horrifically in the rest of their basically like conference weekends that you have to go to in order to become an Ultramarine.
Death by presentations.
Yeah.
But yeah, they get dueling against a full Astartes, which is insane, really, when you think about it. This is where most of the aspirants are killed, because even though the Astartes is unarmed, they're still a 7-foot tall superhuman. And you know, one punch will kill someone. But there are other versions of that trial, so they might be tasked with carrying heavy loads.
Oh no. No masturbation. Masturbation banned. You got to do this all whilst carrying a full nut.
Yeah, I've written here again. They do have a policy of trying to save aspirants even when they fail by death. So they must reuse them. Perhaps they don't get the full Space Marine
come
modifications.
from these like wealthy families and stuff, don't
they?
Yeah,
that's true. Maybe they fund
piss
the
off the governor's son who's dead on a planet somewhere.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah. Although I have an interesting story later that goes back to that sort of lore. And when they do pass those tests, the chapter then still have to sort of choose them. So if they're not happy with what you've done, you still won't get chosen. But if the chapter choose you and they see you as worthy, then you'll begin your process of learning the theoretical and practical. The thing that is interesting, that based on what we've been saying, is that one of the first things the aspirants learn is that although their families are mostly from nobility, and that in the realm of Ultramar that means something, that your family name means something, the first thing they learn is that in the Ultramarines, family and birth and status are meaningless, and that
they're just the things that got you to where you are.
Yeah.
Vin Diesel would hate that. He's all about family.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he is. He is.
But
in
they're the slow and
aren't.
placid, not the fast and the furious.
Because everyone stands equal in the eyes of the Emperor and Raboot Guilliman. Your wealth and privilege gets you there, but once you get there, it definitely was not your wealth and privilege that got you there.
Although that is like probably the most vanilla, as Stoney says, of the Space Marines, all the Space Marine legions kind of follow a similar thing in that there's like a set of trials, right?
Yeah.
So I looked at two of the other big names, the Blood Angels, which is like almost similar, but it's just got a load more cool shit around it. So they're only selected during the Duplus Lunaris, when the moons of Baal are lined up in the sky. They select people for the start of the trials, which they must then journey through the deserts of Baal to Angel's Fall, where they fight fire scorpions and have to drink thirst water, which is a type of water that makes you more thirsty the more you drink of it.
This water.
Thirst water. And that eliminates a lot of people, that journey to Angel's Fall. But if they get there, they have to partake in some gladiatorial games. So, you know, they're similar. They're fighting each other in the Palace of Challenge, where they must fight for 9 days to test their endurance. And again, that eliminates a load more of them. Nothing about any of these guys getting saved. I guess they just bleed out into the sands of Baal.
Well, what I thought was quite cool about the Blood Angels selection process is they say anyone can be a Blood Angel as long as as long as you show a bit of grit and someone selects you for these trials. So you could be like a mutant or something. Like you don't have to be like from a rich family or whatever. One of their whole things is that anybody can eventually become a Blood Angel, which I thought was quite cool.
Yeah, that is cool. Yeah, and if you make it through all of these trials and you beat the gladiatorial phase, even if you do have like a third arm, you then have to like go to Baal itself, where you sit in vigil for Sanguinius. Now, this seems like the hardest task. For over 72 hours, you must
What, you just sit there?
still in vigil. And if you fall asleep, you're removed by what they call the blood servitors,
No.
and nobody knows what happens to you. But I think you get drunk. I think you might be, your blood might be getting, you might be getting
Well-
exsanguinated.
Well, doesn't it all end? Like, stop me if I'm jumping ahead.
This
here.
is the
Okay.
last bit. I think
Oh,
you're going on to.
well, it all
if you make it
ends-
through that, if you don't fall asleep.
It all ends with you climbing inside a coffin filled with blood and drinking some of Sanguinius's blood.
That's
and
right,
then,
from the chalice.
yeah, and you have to stay in there for like a year or something. The blood can affect you in all different ways. Like, you might just trip balls, you might go crazy, it might do nothing, and you might just end up waking up in the coffin filled with blood and being fully conscious for a year in a coffin full of blood. So there's all kinds of weird stuff that it can do to you. But if you pop out the other end, you are a perfect person with no desire to drink blood or nothing like that. Don't worry
No,
about
No,
that.
tendency
But
to
yeah,
rage or anything.
all your mutations are gone. You're just a beautiful boy.
Where do they recruit from? Not just Baal?
Mostly from the Baal system, so not
Okay,
Baal
all right.
itself, but like
Yeah.
planets nearby.
Right.
Then I looked at the Raven Guard as well. They've got a similar thing, but everything's like sneaky based. So they've got to sneak. They get dropped off in a hostile city, and they have to sneak around.
It's just a lot of hide and seek. It sounds like the Raven.
Yeah, Raven Guard
one
is
a lot.
hide and seek. Yeah,
It's like constant games of hide and seek. And don't they have to do a thing where they have to kill a bunch of birds?
I don't. I think they have to, like, like in Batman, where you stand up and all the bats flap around you. If they can't control the ravens in the rookery to like circle around them in a circle, they just don't get in. I think
Really?
that's
Oh,
part
right.
of
In the
it.
rookery.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know if that's true, but it should be. It should be. But they have
Corvus Corvax's rook cave that he goes
Yeah,
to. Quick, into the Chromobile!
The trials are called the trial of the Watcher, the trial of Justice, and the trial of the Wraith. So the Watcher is the hide and seek. Then you've got Justice, which is essentially like a game of truth or dare, but if you get asked truth, if you say truth and then you lie, you just get killed and you don't get to become a Raven Guard. So it's all about like being honest. It's like an honesty test, which is just weird. And then there's the trial of the Wraith, which is like you're dropped alone onto the wastes of Kievar. Again, lots of this is about being dropped alone onto the wastes. But I think of all the standard Space Marine chapters, the one who's dropped onto the wastes is probably the most exciting, is the Space Wolves. So if you get selected for a Space Wolves, who mostly recruit from Fenris still, if they can, from the kind of like Viking tribes that's on Fenris, their first ordeal is called the Test of Morkai, which is before they get implemented with like all the globules and Space Marine stuff later on. They have to consume the Canis Helix, which is where all of this dog stuff comes from. So they drink this Canis Helix, the first component of their gene seed, and then they get dropped off in like the proper wastelands. We're not talking Chamonix, we're talking like Fenrisian wastes with giant beasts and -40 whatever at a spear, and they have to fend for themselves. But whilst they're fending for themselves, this helix might essentially be turning them into a werewolf. So they're fighting becoming a wolfen in the wastes of Fenris, surrounded by previous failed aspirants who presumably have mutated fully into wolfen. So they've got to survive with nothing on Fenris, surrounded by werewolves, and work their way back to the Fang.
And remember again that they're just humans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're like, again, like 15 or something at this stage.
Oh,
aren't
yeah.
They? They're like, yeah.
I guess they're
Absolutely
probably used to
brutal.
the weather a bit,
Yeah, I guess they're probably more used to the cold than like we
but they've
would
been
be.
given like a load of body altering drugs.
But it is very Sparta, isn't it? It's very like start of 3.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it is. It
yeah.
is.
And when they get to the Fang, they have to do this thing called the Gates of Morkai. They have to pass through these gates where they get tempted. And this is where like Fenris as like a planet has like these weird chaosy links where to pass through the gate, they're tempted by chaos. So whatever like the chaos spirits on Fenris are, they try and like tempt them. If they resist and succeed, allowed to drink from the cup of Wolfen, and if they fail, they just die. That's the end of it. After making it there.
We should say that is brilliantly dramatized in one of the Warhammer Plus animations.
Are you on like are you on the promotion program? Are you taking money and not even telling us?
I am, yeah. Yeah, you can sign up at www.warhammerplus.com.
Damn, it feels good to be a gangster.
So yeah, out of all the big Space Marine factions, those were the most interesting. The Imperial Fists just do everything on bulk, and they make you learn loads of shit in school before you do anything.
Oh, I thought there was.
The Salamanders are cool because you have to kill a dragon at the end of it, but
it's also the Salamanders one's cool because they recruit. You have to be like a craftsman first. Like they don't.
You're like an apprentice in like a lot of the
time.
Aren't you?
A lot of the time, like weirdly, like the Imperial Fists, they always recruit. They like to recruit from Necromunda and recruit like gangers and stuff. But they have to be most of the time. People are like recruiting people that are a bit hard before they become. Space Marines. I mean, whereas like the Salamanders are like, hey, this guy can knock up make a wicked pot on his pottery wheel. Hey, how do you fancy becoming a salamander? And then they go through all the trials, which sort of mimic the trials that the Emperor did when he fought Vulcan, and they did the trials together. And it ends with them having to fight a fire salamander like they did, the Emperor did.
And the thing that I read with that, which I didn't realize, was that they then get to keep the hide, right, which they can wear into battle.
Yeah.
So my question is, why do only the big boys? Like, I'm not going to not wear the dragon hide. Who are these like line Space Marines for the Salamanders that have chosen not to wear their sick ass dragon cape?
Maybe that's like the only one you get, and if it gets burnt off or something, you can't
Keep
go
it for
out
special
and like
occasions.
buy another one.
You lose it in the drop pod.
Yeah, exactly. It got mixed up. You didn't sew your name tag into it, and it got mixed up with everybody else's.
yeah.
But the Dark Angels one is pretty. Sort of starts off as pretty straightforward, a bit like the Ultramarines, where because they have squires and stuff, like because they're knights, and becoming a squire was so difficult. A lot of the time, they'd just kind of like be able to recruit people who were squires because they'd basically been through a bunch of tests anyway. But then post heresy, they get super duper fucking gnarly with it. But if you want anyone that is compatible with the Dark Angel gene seed, it's basically like abducted and cut open with a chainsaw to have their organs investigated before them being stitched up and put into like a big gladiatorial fight, which again seems like a massive, like the gladiatorial fighting stuff seems like a pretty common theme. But if you survive the gladiatorial fights, then every time you get like a new organ, you have to go through like a secret ritual. So the Dark Angels take you into some cave and you do some like secret ritual and you come out with a new lung or something.
Oh, right. They do like their secrets. They've probably got loads of like random extra shit going on in the Dark Ages that they're not telling anyone about.
Yeah.
So they haven't got a planet to do it on. And I guess planets are like quite important with all of this, right? Especially with the Legions pre-heresy. Like you said there, for the Dark Angel study, you're already kind of like a knight because of the way the planet works. On Fenris, you're already hard as nails because it's freezing cold. And that's why I think it leaves loads of character development for the early characters that come from Terra, because a lot of Legions have people that are inducted on Terra. Like even Abaddon was like turned into a Space Marine on the moon, on Luna. Like he was taken from Thonia, but he was like taken away to do it. And I think that things like that seem to have a big impact. Everything seems to be about removing allegiance to your planet, and in some cases it doesn't seem to work so well.
A lot of it is merging it, isn't it? You have these guys from Terra and you have this big gang of dudes that you're trying to do things like certain ways. Like I remember we talked about the flight of the Eisenhorn, what's it called? The Garrow one, yeah. Like we talk about that quite a lot, but like there's a bit on that because Garrow's from Earth, and when they talk about the Death Guard recruitment process is all about like wading through corrosive swamps and drinking poison and shit like that. Which the guys from Barbarous have all had like a easier time of it because they grew up there. And there's a bit where him and he meets Mortarion, Garrow meets Mortarion, and they share a drink of poison, which is just what you do. And there's just a thing about like him drinking it and remembering just how fucking horrible it is, like drinking poison, and like Mortarion's just like loving it. You know, he's got the beer bong out, he's slamming another 6-pack of poison. You know, so yeah, it definitely helps.
Yeah, to be used to the culture.
But I think that's another interesting thing. Like when you talk about recruitment, particularly with the guys who fell to chaos. Like obviously afterwards their recruitment process like completely changes. And I think like something that I was thinking about when I was researching this, like for the World Eaters, for instance, right? Like, is there any way they could like, sure, people could like fall to Khorne and to chaos and might join up with them, but surely there can't be a way of like making new World Eaters, like the Butcher's Nails, like, and all of that stuff. Is that something? Do they have any apothecaries? You know, like surely not. It seems like it must now be like the original World Eaters must be like a really short number.
Yeah, they're definitely in short supply because they kill each other at various points.
Well, exactly. They spend the whole time either fighting each other or fighting in battle.
But like pre-heresy, I think some of the legions, especially the ones with the famous Primarchs, it depends whether you're inducted before or after the Primarch as well as just your planet. So like there are very few World Eaters that remain loyalist, but most of the ones that are taken on before Angron arrives. Because pretty soon after Angron's there, he's getting everyone implanted with the Butcher's Nails. And that's before he's really fallen, and that like helps them. Yeah. And I know that like after the fall proper, the induction for the World Eaters is fighting in blood pits until like they chuck like 10 recruits in a blood pit and you fight until you're the only survivor. And then you get the nails put in, and then like that's it.
I swear this is like a point of law that Games Workshop can sort of flip-flop on, is how many, certainly by the point of 40k, how many of the Chaos Space Marines are original legionaries, because they do hint at new recruits. They definitely, there is definitely some sort of intake, and there are lots of legionaries left. Obviously, the Thousand Sons are a bit different, but it's never really. I guess it's nice to be vague,
stuff
but
could
it's
be
not.
like as we move forward now from the Siege of Terror, that stuff might start being fleshed out as we see.
Maybe they will flesh that out.
Especially legions that have lost most of them, like the Word Bearer. Word Bearers or the World Eaters.
Because I think, you've got in 40k, you've got Fabius Bile. I mean, he basically creates chaos, but he does create Chaos Space Marines. And there's there's Chaotic Forge Worlds, the Dark Mech. I think they are. I think 50% of the Chaos Space Marines might be new blood, if you like, and some of them are still old. I think, but it's always a bit vague from Games Workshop, I think.
Yeah, they've definitely elaborated on some of them. Like, I mean, the Iron Warriors, they've got the Demoncular or whatever it is that we've talked about. But apparently, we
haven't mentioned that for a while.
Apparently, they all, which is for anyone who doesn't know, poor ladies that basically have Space Marines shoved up them and then have to then give birth to the Space Marine. I don't know how it works.
Fully grown man.
They give birth to a fully grown man before being stitched up and having to do the whole thing again. But also, apparently, if you're an Iron Warrior, you can progress if you're just a cultist and you kill a Space Marine. Then you immediately get you get shoved in up a lady and poured out as a. I don't know how it works. Well, so they at least are recruiting to some degree.
Yeah, for sure. And like their ones before the heresy was just like, it was like that film that's just come out, like The Long Walk or whatever. All their trials were just like, just keep walking. And we'll just walk forever until like all of you but 3 of you are dead, and then you've given enough endurance to get in. It was all about like being hard as nails. But I guess like some of them are just so obviously different before and after. Like if you think of the Emperor's Children, like pre-heresy, their inductions weren't, they had to be able to do an art. Like you couldn't get into the Emperor's Children even if you were the best fighter unless you could also like do pottery or paint a portrait or like do some stained glass. And then post-heresy, it's like who's last to come in the orgy, or maybe who's going to come the most in the orgy. Like you can give yourself over to Slaanesh, as opposed to like the Death Guard, who, as you said, Stoney, pre-heresy, they're drinking poison it's not that much of a stretch post heresy for them to be drinking poison and loving it.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
for sure.
they don't
Yeah.
change much in terms of their recruitment. It's just you die
Yeah.
and you're full of pustules at the end of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I guess
I
I reckon they must just become like more kind of weird versions of it because they're still because Chaos Guys, their
Oh, yeah.
brain still kind of
Definitely.
works the same way, doesn't it? So it'd be like
Yeah.
rather than going through the swamps of whatever, they probably just drag them through a bunch of like acid or something, and then burns off half of them, but Nurgle brings them back to life, and so
Yeah.
yeah. Another difficult one to sort of comprehend getting new people is like the Thousand Suns as well.
Yeah.
I mean,
Because
they don't. I
Yeah,
don't
they
think
can't
they
do. I think that they're a bit like Eldar, aren't they? Where they're a bit kind of stuck with what they have to a certain extent.
I think they can get like new sorcerers. I think they train up promising psychics still to become sorcerers to
It's
like to direct the
Dust Warriors,
dusty
yeah.
armor suits.
yeah.
But they definitely don't get like new space marines.
Can they?
at
Can
all.
they? Can they not? There must be a way that they can, using psychic powers, rebuild the dust suits, like reconnect the soul.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that is possible.
with a
I think you just got
rebuilt
to
dust suit.
you got to seal them back up. So you need kind of like
Yeah.
a puncture repair kit, and I think they're good to go.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And,
I
think because I know before the heresy with them, their recruitment trial was basically when you get the gene scene added, you're gonna either turn into like a
Yeah.
blobby flesh changed demon, and we're gonna blow you up immediately, or you're a strong enough psyker to handle it. Like that
Yeah.
was their recruitment. We're gonna put this inside you, and you're either going to explode or you're not.
Yeah,
So-
it was a real kind of
This is a
like
good test.
Yeah, don't really know what's going to happen. Let's see. I'll be stood
Yeah.
by the side with this shovel, ready to smack you around the head with it if I need to.
Exactly.
Yeah. The destruction of the heavy-dicked rascals and the big bollock platoon. A radio play by Aaron Dembski-Bowden.
We must keep them at bay, brother. For the honour of the heavy-dicked rascals, fight on till the last man.
You're right, brother. We need to really make sure to fuck these aliens up with our dicks and stuff.
Yes, that's right, brother. We must ram back the foe using our massive Imperial meat sticks. Oh, look out, brother. I see one of our friends from the big bollock platoon coming this way. Hold your fire, Marine. Come into the trench, brother. We've got you.
Yeah, get into the trench, brother.
Oh, thank you, merciful brothers. I thought I was going to get dicked down by the enemy for sure there.
You look like you were gonna get tallywhacked, alright? You know, by the enemy's dicks and stuff.
Yeah, I guess so. But there's no time for that now, brothers. The enemy is advancing at an unstoppable rate and we have to beat them back. It's our own chapter's only hope now. So come on, you strong-cocked warriors. Let's let them taste our meteoric balls. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll penis you into mist because you have small testicles.
Yes, take that, you baby dick Xenos scum. Feel the power of my Imperial schlong, you wonky bollock bastards. I'm going to split you like lumber with the Imperial shaft, you heretic scum.
Prepare for some knob, you bad guys.
Hold on, something's wrong. I'm just not feeling as motivated as I usually do by all the dick shouting. Is one of you one of those new lady space marines by any chance?
I am, and I'm girl bossing the fuck out of this battle.
Oh no. Oh no!
And so it was declared by the Emperor that only dudes can get to be Marines from now on. The End, by Aaron Dembski-Bowden.
This is the mark of a professional.
I know that, like, if we're talking about planets, like, impact, I think Night Lords are the most obvious for, like, direct impact of a planet. Like, their whole legion falls apart because they're essentially recruiting psychopaths for their whole recruitment process, start to finish. Like, the evilest bastards in the prison are just fed straight into the Night Lords.
Definitely. Well, the Night Lords one is crazy, and because they, like you say, it's basically was initially made up of like gangsters and criminals and just psychopaths. So not a lot of team players, you know.
Yeah.
And and then kidnap kids, like they'd sort of go down and do all this massive torture campaign, kidnap the most traumatized psychopath kids, and then subject them to a psychedelic breaking or something like that, which was quite often like prison style games and things of that nature.
It's essentially Saw, isn't it? It's like take part in Saw.
It is, yeah.
And if you enjoy it,
basically, yeah. But like they also seem to like be quite happy to like accept other chaos guys. So like if you were like an Alpha Legion guy that defected or whatever, they'd quite happily take you in. But that also means that they lose quite a lot of people as well. It just sounds like they're a very disorganized bunch. But like it's also quite interesting because it really, really sounds like Conrad Kurz just does not give a fuck about anything. Like he's just such a bad leader. Like when he because it sort of sounds like it all started off as this kind of good idea. To a certain extent, with like he was going to try to kind of like rehabilitate people from like prisons and things, and then he just sort of basically left them in charge. And again, like we say, they were just psychopaths. I was
saying about not knowing what's going on is massive there, because I think initially he doesn't know he's being sent these people, and then he finds out that his entire like process of recruitment have all come from prisons, and they like his home planet stitched him up because he's basically paid no attention.
I was reading this quite funny thing about them where they were talking about just like what bad reputation they have, like even amongst like other Space Marines just kind of hate them because of their crazy tactics that they use, which sort of
no wonder,
which kind of like runs out. Like there's very, very few specific situations where doing that kind of terror tactic is actually kind of like, oh yeah, that's good. Like for instance, they'd be out with like, I don't know, some Iron Warriors or something like pre-heresy, and the Iron Warriors would be like, all right, it's a really simple mission. We just need you to go down there, pick up this briefcase and come back or something. And then like they go down, massacre everybody and come back. It's like, it really wasn't necessary. I know that your thing is like the terror tactics kind of feels like you're just doing it because you like it at this stage. Like, yeah.
Yeah, it's why Vulcan hates him.
Yeah,
because they're like Vulcans. The salamanders are obviously the polar opposite of that, and Vulcan's like up in one of the stories. I think it's in Vulcan Lives, and he's like planning out this perfect compliance, how he can get the planet to just capitulate. And by the time he lands, he gets there, and like 2/3 of the planet have been like spiked onto the walls, and like everyone else is like kneeling. And he like Kurz pops around the corner and is like, "I've done it, brother."
Yeah,
it's like, okay, yeah, good.
Yeah, that's not what you do.
Not what we were all about. Yeah.
But what you were saying that's interesting there, Steady, about like the Night Lords being able to take on, like they're not fussy about taking other Chaos Legionaries. I've just finished reading 2 books that I'd highly recommend. Aaron Dembski-Bowden, The Start of the Black Legion. So it's told from the point of view of Kaon, who's 1,000 Suns guy, who's with Abaddon from like the early days. And they go through the kind of initial start of that. And it's all about like warring in the Eye of Terror to try and get as many war bands to paint their armor black and join the Black Legion as possible. So them as Chaos Undivided, and I guess the stands-in for Sons of Horus, are like super open to people just bending the knee.
Oh, absolutely.
And joining them.
If anything, they kind of, that's their whole thing, is they want a bit of everything, the Black Legion, which is, great for a selling models point of view, and having a Chaos army which you can just put anything into and play it all together. But yeah, that they really are like the getting into the Black Legion. All you have to do is be a bit chaosy, and you've already passed the test.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, they are a bit like the Ultramarines, like supposedly bigger than a normal chapter, and the Black Legion are almost still like a legion in terms of size.
Yeah. Sure. But what's quite funny is that the people that join it also don't feel like, massively like committed to it. There's like not really that many people that are committed Black, other than Abaddon. There's not that many Black Legion specific characters.
Not that are named. There's a few in this book, but on the tabletop, I can't think of many. Maybe Huron Blackheart. He's the other guy.
No, he's a Khorne guy.
Is he a Khorne guy?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think,
Anyway.
No, a Harken World Claimer. That's who I'm thinking of. He was like part of that, like the
Blackheart,
reboot.
maybe he is.
I think we covered like all of the main legions there. Have we missed any of the main ones?
Well, there's a couple. There's a couple I just wanted to talk about. The White Scars again are quite interesting because a bit like with the Emperor's Children. They want you to take up some kind of artistic pursuit. Like they suggest you start writing poetry when you join up. So it's not like the Emperor's Children where that is the most important thing, but they just want you to be in touch with your feelings, which is quite nice.
I love the wind in my hair when I'm
that
riding
kind
my
of
bike.
thing, yeah. But I love to think that there's just like loads of really, really bad Space Marine poetry that's just come out of there, where it's guys that aren't really that into it, but are just having a go. It's just like A/B rhyme scheme the whole way through.
Yeah. Can I please request a poetry-based Lords of Lore at some point in the future?
Hell yes. Yeah, who wrote this poem?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. That's definitely going in the bank. But one that I wanted to talk about, which I thought was crazy actually, was the Iron Hands one.
Yeah, I was going to ask if anyone had looked. Yeah,
it's nuts because it's basically about like I didn't really realize this about the Iron Hands, but they're all like really grumpy, bitter old bastards because they're all really pissed off that like Ferrus Manus has died and was like the first one to be killed, and they're also all pissed off that they're not machines. Basically, the fact that they have like human parts really annoys them, so they kind of get more bitter and twisted the older they get, and the kind of recruitment process is basically just to make the person like hate their flesh through like torture and basically just be like, wouldn't this be better if your knob was made of metal, as they smash it with a hammer or something,
Is it like going to a Dom dungeon? Like, oh, you've come again. Oh,
I think
you couldn't
so,
even hold it in.
Yeah, a very disappointed Dom that's just upset with you at having a body and would rather you were like really wants to bang a toaster, like I guess would be it. It sounds like it's a really, really brutal system because any part of it that you fail, you basically just get made into a servitor. They're just like, I fucked it up, take him away, make him into a servitor. So that's obviously a fate worse than death. At the very end of the process, you have to either cut off your left hand or have it burnt off in one of the lava pools there. So it doesn't really matter how it ends. You're going to end up with at least one metal appendage.
That's so disappointing, isn't it? Because if you go on the lore that Ferris's hands are like necrodermis from Void Dragon shattered pieces, you'd be like, I know what we're trying to do here, guys, but can't we give me like a better hand instead of just burning mine off? Give me a shit hand. Like he had amazing hands.
He could literally forge stuff with his hand. You're giving me a shitter hand. Like I've got a hook. What do you mean you've run out of hands? All I've got is the hook.
I wanted to look into a couple of characters and see how they ended up getting recruited. The first one I looked at was Marius Calgar. Just because I was looking into Ultramarines, but he is one of the main characters in the 40k setting. He has a fairly interesting backstory where his actual name is Tashisan. It's not he's not Marinus Calgar. That's not his name.
You haven't said his real name right in the past 4
times. His real name is Taciturn, and he was a serf. He was a serf for the noble house of Calgar on the world of Nova Thulium, and he was a companion of the house of Calgar's young heir, Marinus. And the two were friends, and they sought to become Space Marines together. So they kind of grew up together. Well, they started to grow up together, and they got into the training to be aspirants on Thulium Minor. And in their class, one night, the duo discovered that the rest of the aspirants were actually Khorne cultists, and they were doing a ritual. And before they could escape, they were apprehended, and Marius Calgar was killed. And Taciturn managed to escape. He managed to fight back, and he escaped, and he pledged that Marius Calgar would become a Space Marine and he would live on in the Ultramarines, and he takes his friend's name and identity, and he ends up because he takes out this whole class of cultists. The Ultramarines are like, this, you've already passed the first test, like you're good, we're interested in you.
I don't even want to join the Ultramarines anymore. Like you're supposed to be the most refined system in the galaxy. Yeah, you've got like secret corn cobs
Yeah.
going on in your
No,
own
no, no.
school
That would
system.
I think that's-
that would be
going on there?
aspirational.
I
You'd
think
be like,
that's-
no, I'm going to wipe these people out.
I think this is total horseshit. I think that he accidentally pushed this guy down the stairs or something, or he died in like
maybe.
some kind of like
Yeah.
autoerotic asphyxiation accident they were doing together. Some kind of like boarding school rich person nonsense. He died in one of those kind of deaths. And now, like, he's tried to cover it up. He's like, "Oh, what happened? Why is Marius Calgar here with a broom up his ass and a mask on?" And then he's like, "Oh, there was these chaos
was the
cultists came
cultists.
in, and I beat them all up. I got him, and now I've had to adopt his identity and his checking account."
But apparently the 12-year-old actual true Marinus Calgar is buried on the world of Nova Thulium, so their homeworld, and he's buried there in a tomb
under their version of the
axe in his
M11.
back.
I looked into some of the second founding chapters.
I've got a couple. Let's do some of them fun ones.
The Black Templars. So famously, the Black Templars are they don't have a homeworld, so they are, what do they call them? Like fleet-bound chapter.
Endless crusade, isn't it?
And they're on an endless crusade, yeah. So fleet-bound chapter. So they actually get most of it. Well, they get all of their recruits from the chapter keeps. So the chapter keeps are castles that are set up on planets that the Templars fought on and have saved in some way. They build a keep to maintain control of the planet, becomes a base and a staging area for the Templars, and they get recruits on those worlds. So there must be one on Armageddon, I imagine. And apparently they only get like a couple of recruits per keep. This is the thing that I always remember reading the codexes. Is it's funny how they make a really big thing about how special you have to be to get into the chapter, and then you read on and it's like all the recruits just die in all these challenges, and it's like, how can they have enough people at the end of this to get in the chapter?
They're like, only the top 1% make it, and then 99% of those guys die. It's like, what? Hang on, how's the percentage working out in here? How many people are you taking on?
And then like the newly equipped Space Marines just die immediately because they're just normal battle brothers.
Yeah. And then every time you play a game of Warhammer, like literally 80% of your army dies. So you know, like,
yeah. But they take about a dozen neophytes in a keep, and if they get approved by the Castellan, so the controller of the keep, and the apothecaries check them, because obviously the Templars are really into the health of the people in the chapter, i.e., they have no time for mutants, or any psychic abilities, or anything deforming from normal, quote unquote, normal humans. If you pass those tests, then you end up going and joining the fleet, and you go through some more tests and trials, and these neophytes are looked after by younger battle brothers, initiates, and they, through the trials, sort of end up backing a junior neophyte, so a recruit, and they have like a pledge and an honor, and they pledge to serve this battle brother as their kind of your apprentice. It's like, it's a knight serf. I mean, that's what it is.
Right.
And you end up being like a half a Space Marine, because they don't have a scout company. So a lot of these chapters use the scout company as a pool of junior Space Marines. But the Templars don't have a scout company, so they sort of mix them in, neophytes and initiates fight
that's
together.
on the board as well, because you're like
on the
10-man
board.
squad has like 6 guys in scout armor and 4 guys in proper armor.
Exactly.
Cool.
Then when you're mentored enough, and the more senior Space Marine decides you're ready, and it's only his decision. When he says you're ready, then you get to become a full Space Marine, and you get the finishing touches on your body, and you get your power armor, and then you become a
Hang on a
battle
minute,
brother.
go back. The what? The
The
finishing
touches on your body.
Okay, yeah. Very serfdom.
Yeah. and then one day you'll get your own little serf to look after.
To
Touch
touch his
to
body.
touch up. Yeah, yeah. And I tried to look at some others.
I tried to look at some pictures, but
yeah.
it was yeah.
Well, I found the one that we mentioned way back in the Ghoul Stars episode. Do you remember the Death Scepters? Because their recruitment is on the planets on the edge of the Ghoul Stars, and they just raid planets and kidnap people, and then they farm humans on their own like recruitment planets.
That's right, yeah.
And and they're the good guys. 40k baby. So those ones were an interesting recruitment.
I looked into the Blood Ravens, because obviously there's a lot of stuff about Dawn of War at the moment.
Yeah.
And that was interesting as well, because their homeworld, their homeworld was a planet, a hive world called Eurilia, and in the late 40th millennium, a warp storm basically swallowed it up, and that was their recruitment base. So they it was like an oh shit moment, and they became a fleet-based chapter, and they would struggle to get recruits from the neighboring planets, but the neighboring planets also started to fall, and they've had a bit of a recruitment crisis. 1,000 years later, their planet re-emerged from the warp, but it's like a frozen rock with demons on. And in the star system where they used to recruit, I think there's like one planet left that hasn't fallen, and this must all link to the game. But there's planets that have been destroyed by exterminatus. So like their best recruitment world, the Captain Gabriel Angelos, who's the character in the game, had to exterminatus it because it was loads of chaos taint on it. So he kind of
well, they're like unknown founding fact chapter, aren't they? No one knows where they came from, so maybe they are a chaos offshoot. Who knows?
Yeah, rumored to be potentially Thousand Sons, because they have a lot of librarians, I think, so, something like that. So they've kind of struggled with their recruitment.
It's interesting that struggling with recruitment, because that comes up in the Horus Heresy as well. So when everyone's can't recruit because there's a massive galactic war going on, they start this process called the Inductii, which is like fast track Space Marine. And it doesn't always go very well. Some of them get mutated and stuff. But there's one chapter, I think it's the Imperial Fist, they're trying to get people, and they're using like hypnotherapy to kind of supercharge everybody. And they're like, hang on a minute, I've got a quicker way of doing this because of the omophagia. And they just get all the recruits to eat a load of brains of the dead warriors so that they can like absorb all of the memories and knowledge through like eating brains, because it's quicker than training them.
Hell yeah.
There's loads of weird stuff like that for kind of fast passing it, but a lot of them die quite quickly because they're not as good as the properly.
They get kind of like mad cow disease, don't they?
Kuru.
Yeah.
The last chapter that I looked at was I think probably the hardest recruitment, which is the Exorcists. So those are the guys that the Grey Knights and the Inquisition are involved in. And they're the ones that a demon gets put inside them, and they have to, using only their own will, like expel the demon from inside themselves. And if they do, they become uncorruptible, because when the demon leaves, it takes part of their soul. But then they are immune to demons. And if they fail, apparently they just use their body to store all of the demons for the future trials. So they just fill them up with more demons and lock them in a cage.
So you just become a human test tube.
Yeah, basically. So that's I think that was probably one of the worst of the inductions. Like more than drinking a cup of poison.
That does sound pretty bad. Yeah, just have a little bit of demoned up in there.
Yeah.
See how it goes.
Yeah.
Just pop it in.
Yeah, it's a bit like a vaccine, I guess.
Yeah.
So there you have it, Large Blast Podcast listener. Some more lore bust right open by the Large Blast Podcast's Megacock and me, Adam Dembski-Bowden. Of course, no one will believe your tall tale if you try to tell them this, and no one listens to the Large Blast Podcast anyway, so the truth might as well have been written on a note, pushed inside a bottle and thrown into the ocean. And you want to know something else? I don't even have a dick anyway. I'm rocking a cloaca, mate. That's right, Aaron Dembski-Bowden has a cloaca. Yet another Large Blast podcast exclusive. And now a raid to write more dick stuff into the Horus Heresy. Goodbye! Ha ha!
Welcome back, everybody, to this Lords of the Law, the last part of the show where I pit Matt and Welshie against each other to find out who is the Lords of Law. And I have got an actual, genuine Warhammer quiz. Whoa! That's right, Warhammer questions to be answered in a Warhammer style. Are you guys ready?
Ready.
Charging up.
How many dedicated Chaos Space Marine codexes have there been? So I'm not talking about things like that.
That's a good question.
Like Lost and the Damned books, that kind of thing. Just Chaos Space Marines.
And obviously not updates, yeah?
Yeah, so not like Khorne, Demon Kin and that kind of, or,
okay.
Yeah. So just the Chaos Codex.
I know this.
There was 2 in third. I'm going to assume there wasn't 1 in first because that's all in the same book.
So
I'm going to go 11. I'm going to go 11.
Okay, I'm going to go with 20.
20. Okay. Well, this has really made me question ChatGPT, but apparently there's been only 6.
Whoa, that seems...
Hello, Large Blast podcast listener, Editor Stoney here. Just to let you know, I've fucked this one, right? I'm pretty sure that it can't be 6, but having done some more research, I can't find a definite answer. I think Welshie is probably right with 11, but you know what? If you know, let me know in the chat. Otherwise, let's just move on and forget about it, shall we?
No. That
6
makes
dedicated
sense.
Chaos Codexes, apparently.
Yeah, Matt, you're thinking of like individual gods.
No, I don't.
Because there's only been 10 editions.
Completely miscounted.
Whatever. Good start. We're getting off to a good start to this Warhammer quiz. What were these factions called before they had their Primarch? So, like the word bearers were called like the kind of the light bringers or whatever. So they're going to give you 3. So White Scars, Death Guard, and Blood Angels. What were those 3 called?
Cool, they're hard ones because they're like it's harder with the loyalists.
Do you want to know?
Yeah, I don't know. I can't think of any of them.
Okay, well, the White Scars were called the Star Hunters.
Yeah.
Great name.
The Death Guard were called the Dusk Raiders.
Yes, that's the one I've heard of.
Yeah. And the Blood Angels were called the Revenant Legion.
I've never heard that, but that makes sense. It's very futuristic.
Okay, so we're off to a good start.
Oh, yeah.
Here we go. Second question down. So, who is the current de facto Lord of Terror? Is it A, Tarjan Valius, B, Morven Val, is it C, Roberto Guliman, or is it D, Alfarius in a wig?
Oh, well, I mean, obviously it's D, but we wouldn't be able to prove that. Who is the current de facto Lord of Terror? Well, only one of them is a High Lord, I think. Well, Trajan Valoris is the head of the Custodes.
Did you say that? Did you say Trajan Valoris?
Yes, I did, yes.
Okay, right. Yeah.
I'm gonna say Gilliman though. Surely they're gonna answer to Gilliman, even if he doesn't have the title. I'll go Gilliman.
It's hard. I'm 50-50, so I'll say the lady that is in the gold armor. Yeah.
Well, that's a point to you, Welshie. It's apparently Guliman.
Yeah, I'm not sure Daddy would like that, to be honest.
No, well, there you go. And is he not just Alfarius in a wig anyway?
Could be, if he's not Omegon.
What is the name of the biggest orc ever recorded? Is it A, Orc Claude Van Slam? Is it B, De Beast? Is it C, Hard-Nulled Gorksenegger? Or is it D, Fat Boy Malky?
I think it's none of those. It's Marakai.
So what are we going with? Matt, what did you say?
B.
The Beast. Yes, Matt, you are correct. The
Beast is the official one. Trick Marakai question.
Yeah. What is the name of the White Scars homeworld? There's 2 points available for this because there's a colloquial answer and an official answer.
Aye.
Chagoris, home of the wind rushing through your air and
That
the
is right,
vast
that is
plains of beautiful loveliness.
That is the colloquial term for it, but what is its official name?
Homeworld of the White Scars.
That's right, Matt. 3 points. No. It's called Mundus Planus.
Come on.
Basically, mundane planetus, I guess.
Or mundane plains, probably, because it's just
that's
grass.
it. Yeah, probably. What year did Rogue Trader come out?
1988.
Matt, that's a point for you. 1987. Welshie, you'll get a 1 year out T-Bug.
Yes, thanks.
What was the name of the cancelled Warhammer 40k MMO computer game? Was it A, Dark Millennia Online? Was it B, Imperial Heresy Online? Was it C, Dark Awakening Online? Or was it D, Warhammer 40,000 Online?
I think B.
It could be D, but my gut says it's A.
Matt, you're right. It was A, Dark Millennia Online. Which brings us on to this, the final question, worth 10 gazillion points. Which is, what... Oh, hang on. Wait. The second to last question. Which is, in a surprise twist of fate, going to be worth 10 billion points.
Nani? Oh.
What is the biggest ship in the Imperial fleet called? And for a bonus 10 gazillion points, what class of ship is it?
The biggest ship in the fleet is the Phalanx.
Oh, okay, you both
and
got that.
It doesn't have a class. It's its own thing. Gloriana is the biggest battleship, I thought, but I don't know what it is.
Yeah, it is Gloriana. But
Phalanx Battle Star.
Well, you both got 10 gazillion points there for getting the Phalanx. Apparently, it's an Abyss class super heavy.
Wow.
I don't know if that rings any truth to you.
I don't know. It probably does have a designation. It's just because it's the only one. You wouldn't know.
You would know, yeah. Okay. Oh, well, you both got 10 gazillion points for that. Which brings us on to our last question, which will now be worth 1 point because we've spunked the 10 gazillion point question. So, yeah, all to play for again. What is the oldest living sentient thing in the universe? Is it A,
good.
the Tyramid biomass pond of Castrol GT? Is it B, the Voltan ancestral cores? Is it C, Polycybis silicus, a fungal / truffle that lives underground on Catachan? Is it D, Unit 101, a prototype servitor that still serves in the Palace of Terror despite being over 4,000 years old?
Oh, that is difficult. I mean, none of them?
Oldest living thing. I'll go with the fungus.
Fungus.
Yeah, that would be my guess, but to be different, I will go with so the Tyranid one is specifically in that pool on that world.
Yes, the world of Castrol GT.
It's not that, but so let's go with the Votan.
I like how long you thought about Castrol GT, though. I was worried that maybe Stoney'd come up with the mushroom because it sounds a bit like psilocybin, but Castrol DGT was quite
a bit on the nose.
Yeah.
Well, Matt, you're right. Apparently, the Voltan ancestral
They're not alive. Cores, they're computers.
They're the oldest sentient thing in the universe, apparly.
I suppose
sentient I suppose only means thinking.
Yeah. So because they're like made of the bits of the stone men or whatever they were called.
Yeah, the men of iron.
The men of iron. So so apparently it's the oldest living sentient thing.
What about the Emperor?
Well, he's not living, is he? He's like dead or something.
But we just said
definitely alive.
We just said he's sentient. Yeah, anyway.
Nah, he ain't. It's fine. Whatever. Well, that's it. So there's Matt. That means you're the winner of this week's Lords of Lore, with the one winning point needed. How do you feel?
Oh, just amazing.
Glad to hear it. Let's say goodbye, everybody. We'll see you next time on the Large Blast Podcast.
Bye.